Good morning, students. In the last lecture, we discussed the perpendicular axis theorem, and before that, we also discussed parallel axis theorem. So, today we are going to discuss a very important topic, that is moment of inertia of some regular shaped bodies. We know that what is moment of inertia? Moment of inertia is the opposition to the motion of the body, and if the shape of the body is different, then its moment of inertia is also different. So we are going to see the moment of inertia of some regular shaped body, and today we are going to discuss the moment of inertia of a uniform rod, which is nothing but a regular shaped body. So how to find out the moment of inertia of this uniform rod, and then we can apply parallel axis theorem and perpendicular axis theorem, and we find out the moment of inertia of this uniform rod about the different axes. Okay, so we are starting this moment of inertia of a uniform rod about an axis passing through the center of this uniform rod. So first of all, consider a uniform rod of mass capital M and its length is equal to capital L. So, if this axis is passing through the center, if this axis is passing through the center of this rod, it divides this rod into two equal parts, each having length L by 2. Okay, so we consider this length is equal to L by 2 and this length is equal to L by 2. Okay, suppose we define here a quantity which is known as the rho. And what is rho? It is nothing but the mass divided by area. So what is this? What is rho? Rho is nothing but the ratio of mass per unit area. So what is the mass? If the mass of the rod is equal to m and area, suppose this rod having this breadth is equal to b, and what is this? This is nothing but the length L. So we can write this is equal to L multiplied by B. This is nothing but the area of this uniform rod. So this is the density. We can say it is the mass density, mass per unit area of this uniform rod. Now consider a small strip of this uniform rod having thickness dx situated at a distance x from this axis of rotation. Why we considering this small strip dx? Because then we find out the moment of inertia of this strip around this about this axis of rotation, and then we integrate that equation so that we get the moment of inertia of the whole body. So suppose or consider a small strip having thickness dx which is situated at a distance x, okay, from the axis of rotation. So first of all, what is the moment of inertia of this small element, small strip from this axis of rotation? We can say that this moment of inertia I is equal to, okay, this is equal to, okay, it is small moment of inertia, we can write di. This small moment of inertia, it is equal to integration of x square. Why we write x square? Because the distance of this strip from this axis of rotation is equal to x. Therefore, it is x square multiplied by dm. So what is dm? Dm is the mass of the small strip. And how we can calculate this mass of the strip? We can calculate this by using this formula. We know that this rho is equal to mass upon area, so we can write this mass is equal to, it is rho multiplied by area. Okay, so this mass of the spring is equal to dm. What is rho? As it is. And what is the area of this small strip? This is a rectangular shape, and the area of the rectangle is nothing but the length multiplied by breadth. So what is the length? The length is same as b, and the breadth is equal to dx. So we can write here it is equal to b multiplied by dx. So what is the mass? dm is equal to, it is equal to rho into b into dx. This is the mass, small mass of this strip. Okay, then now we are find out this moment of inertia di. What is di? We can write here this di is equal to integration, or I is equal to integration of x square into rho into b into dx. Okay, or we can solve it, this equation like this. This I is equal to this rho and this b, they both are constant. So we can take out of integration sign, and this is the integration of x square multiplied by dx. Now this limit must be solved within some limits, and the limits are from minus L by 2 and plus L by 2. It means the value of x varies between minus L by 2 to plus L by 2. Okay, from minus L by 2 to plus L by 2. So we can give this as minus L by 2 to the plus L by 2. These are the limits of x. Within the x is varying. Okay, now these limits can be changed. These limits can be changed like this. It is rho into b into 2, and we can write this 0 to L by 2. Okay, if we have to convert this limit into this 0 to L by 2, then we must multiply by it by 2. So it is x square multiplied by dx. So this is 2 rho into b. What is the integration of this? The integration of this is equal to x cube divided by 3, and these are the limit 0 to L by 2. Okay, now it is 2 rho b. What is the upper limit? L by 2. So we can write here L by 2 and its cube. It is divided by 3. Minus 0, so we will omit that term. So L by 2 cube divided by 3. We put the value of L by 2 in place of x. Okay, the upper limit. And the lower limit is 0. Therefore, the value is come to be 0. So we omit that term. So it is equal to twice rho b. What is L by 2 cube? It is equal to L cube divided by 8, and is divided by 3. Okay, so look at here. It is equal to twice rho b into L cube divided by 24. Okay, which is equal to, it is equal to rho into b into L cube divided by 12. But we can write this equation as, look at here, it is rho b L into L square divided by 12. But what is rho b L? Look at here. We know rho is equal to mass upon area, that is mass upon LB, m upon LB. Therefore, we can write this mass m is equal to rho into L into B. So, instead of this rho BL, we can keep the value capital M, that is the mass of the rod. So, we can write this m into L square, and is divided by 12. Okay, so what is this? This is the moment of inertia of the uniform rod about an axis passing through the center of the rod. Okay, this is the moment of inertia of a uniform rod when the axis is passing through the center of the rod. This is I is equal to ml square by L. Now, if you want to find out the radius of gyration of this uniform rod, then we must write here this I is equal to, what is I is equal to? It is equal to mk square, where this k is the radius of gyration, which is equal to ml square divided by 12. So we can write this m get cancelled. So we can write this k square is equal to l square by 12, or simply we can write this k is equal to, that is radius of gyration k is equal to, it is l divided by root of 12. So what is the radius of gyration in the case of a uniform rod? When the axis is passing through the center of the rod, it is equal to L by root of 12, where this L is the length of the rod. So in this way we find out the moment of inertia of the uniform rod, and this moment of inertia is about the axis passing to the center. As we know, this moment of inertia is depend upon the axis. So if the axis is changed, then the moment of inertia of the uniform rod also get changed. So we are going to see what is the moment of inertia of the uniform rod when the axis is passing through one end. Okay, so let's start. So if we consider that this axis is passing through the one end of the rod, then what is the moment of inertia? Consider, what is this? The total length of this uniform rod is equal to L. So what is the length between these two axes which are parallel to each other? This length is equal to L by 2. Okay. So by using the parallel axis theorem, we can find out the moment of inertia in this case. So this is how we can find the moment of inertia. We know, according to the parallel axis theorem, I0 is equal to IC plus mh square, where this I0 is the moment of inertia about the axis which have to be determined. Then IC is the moment of inertia about the center of mass. This h is the distance between the two parallel axes. So we have all of these terms, so we can find the moment of inertia here. So it is I0 is equal to, it is equal to IC, and what is IC is moment of inertia is equal to ml square divided by 12. So we can write here ml square divided by 12 plus this m, and what is h equal to? This h is equal to L by 2. So we can write here this L by 2 and its square. So this is ml square divided by 12 plus ml square divided by 4. So how we can solve this equation? We can solve this equation by taking the LCM. So what is the LCM of these two? It is equal to 12. So it is equal to ml square plus 3 ml square. Okay, so how much? It is equal to 4 ml square divided by 12, or we can also write it is equal to ml square divided by 3. So this is the moment of inertia of the uniform rod about the axis passing through one end of the rod. Either this one end is in this side or in this side, the moment of inertia will be same, that is equal to ml square divided by 3. As we compare the moment of inertia in this case and in this case, so which moment of inertia is greater? This moment of inertia is larger than this moment of inertia. And why such case happen? This is happen due to when the axis of rotation passing to the one end, the distribution of mass is along this length capital L. But if we consider the moment of inertia about this axis, the mass distribution will be short, about L by 2. So mass distribution decreases, therefore the moment of inertia also decreases. So in this way we see the moment of inertia in the case of uniform rod about the axis of rotation passing through its center and about the axis passing through the one end. Now in this case we can also find the radius of gyration. So what is radius of gyration? It is equal to mk square is equal to m L square divided by 3. So what is k is equal to? This k is equal to L by root 3. It is equal to L by root 3. So in this way we can find out the radius of gyration of the uniform rod. So uniform rod have different moment of inertia about different axis of rotation. In the next lecture, we are going to see the moment of inertia of the ring about the different axis by using perpendicular axis theorem and by using the parallel axis theorem. So this is enough for today. Have a good day. Bye.